quote from the book entitled Inside the Nation of Islam, a Historical and Personal Testimony by a Black Muslim. Between 1930 and 1933, Fard Muhammad presented his theology in an educational series called The Supreme Lessons. The program was given in the form of questions and answers that members had to memorize and recite to Master Fard Muhammad. The lessons focused primarily on basic math, English, and reading. However, there were bizarre metaphysical statements that manipulated uneducated blacks to criminal activities. One such lesson focused on the killing of 4 devils to acquire a free trip to the holy city of Mecca. In 1938, Professor Erdman Doan Beynon of the University of Michigan documented this potential problem in an article recounting an event that occurred on November 21, 1932. Robert Harris, also known as Robert Karim, erected a sacrificial altar in his house. He then persuaded his roommate, John J. Smith, to present himself as a human sacrifice to Allah. Karim believed that Smith's death would transform the victim into a savior. Smith agreed to Karim's invitation and died of a sharp knife wound to the heart. Throughout the decade, several members of the organization participated in human sacrifices. Accounts of these senseless killings are occasionally still heard. One such case was the infamous zebra killings in San Francisco during late 1973 and early 1974. According to court documents, the 4 murderers argued that they had followed the lessons of the lost-found Nation of Islam. The butchers, who had decapitated 15 San Francisco residents and permanently injured 12 others, stated that the killings were acts of religious obedience. The death of the white victims did not result from personal or vengeful motives, but from the actions of deeply religious and spiritual men. The zebra killings, dubbed so by San Francisco police because of the interracial connection, took place during a period of 179 days, when a group of 4 black men decided to wage war with white Americans. The small band stated that they were members of an elite force within the black Muslims called the Death Angels. According to members of this force, the Death Angels were financed by the Nation of Islam and had a brotherhood of 2,000 people throughout the nation. The case was solved when Anthony C. Harris, a police informer, testified to a grand jury that for promotion, Death Angel members took photographs of their victims and that members received special commendation for mutilation. In addition, he identified the leaders of the California unit of the Death Angels, who ultimately were sentenced to life in prison for the murders of Manuel Moore, J. C. Simon, Larry C. Green, and Jesse Lee Cooks. Harris also stated that ringleaders were members of San Francisco's Muslim Temple number 26 and were employees with the Nation of Islam's Black Self-Help Company, a moving and storage enterprise. Grand jury testimony also exposed that the local minister of Islam hired attorneys for the convicted men. Mayor Olioto and several investigators contend that the Death Angel Squad is connected to 80 unsolved murders that took place between 1973 and 1974. Another interesting murder case with alleged black Muslim connections was the Hanafi incident of January 17, 1973. The Hanafi Muslim organization was led by Hamas Abdul Kaalis, aka Ernest T. 2X McGee. Kaalis, a former national secretary in the Nation of Islam, left in 1958 after Malcolm X demoted him. He then created the Hanafi movement. The sect remained obscure until early 1970s, when basketball star Lou Alcindor joined the group and changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At this time, Khalis pushed the movement to an aggressive posture when he sent a 3-page letter to the Nation of Islam ministers denouncing Elijah Muhammad and Fard Muhammad as false prophets. On January 17, 1973, several members of the Nation of Islam decided to respond to Khalis' accusations. The Black Muslim hit squad headed for Khalis' home in Washington, D.C. On January 18, the Muslims entered Khalis' home, intending to murder the rival Muslim leader. However, Khalis was out of town. The Black Muslims, nonetheless, continued on the war path. They assaulted Khalis' 25-year-old daughter, Almena, and murdered her 23-year-old brother, David, 10-year-old brother, Rahman, Abdul Nur, a teenage member of the Hanafi sect, and several small children. Evidence at the crime scene led to Philadelphia's Mohammed Mosque No. 12. Ultimately, investigation pointed to James X. Price of Philadelphia, a suspect in another homicide. In June 1973, Price confessed to the crimes and turned state's witness. His statements led to the arrest of the other assassins. Strangely, the day before Price was to testify, he was found hanged in his cell. Coincidentally, Louis Farrakhan delivered a forceful radio sermon concerning the murders and the Hanafi. Apparently, Price committed suicide after hearing Farrakhan's address. Minister Farrakhan stated, "Let this be a warning to those of you who will be used as an instrument of a wicked government against our rise. Be careful, because when the government is tired of you, they are going to dump you back into the laps of your people. And though Elijah Muhammad is a merciful man and will say, 'Come in,' and forgive you, yet in the ranks of the black people today there are younger men and women who have not forgiveness in them for traitors and stool pigeons. And they will execute you as soon as your identity is known." Unlike the Zebra and Hanafi cases, no clear legal connection was ever made between the 1932 killings and the Nation of Islam. However, it was apparent that Master Fard Muhammad's teaching influenced Kareem. It was also clear, according to the police records in California, Michigan, and Illinois, that Fard Muhammad had a criminal record.